What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Members Only Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you're watching after the fact and new to this channel, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and join button if you'd like to become a members only live stream contributor and take part in these members only live streams. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. I'd normally do a quick shout out to my Patreons, but I have started a live stream and recording as soon as I possibly can, so I can get right into the thick of testing this PC with hopefully a small members only audience participating in the fun. But what I've got to do in order to achieve that is actually get all of the software that I use loaded while I'm live streaming, just to put that extra bit of stress on the computer. So unfortunately there's going to be no dulcet tones for anybody to enjoy, because I literally haven't done a thing. I've started and pressed the record and a live button after scheduling the stream. So thank you for joining us. Those couple of people that are out there, we will shortly, or hopefully momentarily, be into the Google Plus Hangout, and you can enjoy, at the very least, the dulcet tones of whoever the hell is in G+. So let's just make this look a little bit more pretty with my little radar, and go to Google Meet, where there are definitely people.
You dream about.
Hello.
Yes.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Well, I'll get back into Discord. Don't let me destroy the conversation. I obviously have.
I don't know if we're allowed to talk.
You have my permission.
All I heard was this little quiet voice say hello.
Neil, you have the comms.
Okay, what do I say? Check out my particle accelerator.
Please, we got a live. We got a full live and after show done.
Without it going on fire?
Yeah, some of it was almost on fire. It's good. I mean, there's not that many opportunities to test the PC where it's a nice high ambient temperature, meaning that the room itself is hot. So it's a useful opportunity.
Oh, there's just no way to live, Nathan.
Whatever. Well, while I'm pressing buttons, check out amongst yourselves, if you don't mind.
So, Eli, you're saying AI is going to be the moderator, AI overlord? And is it a definite date in July, or you still don't know? Or is it just...
Still don't know, but we're trying to iron out the details. Put everything in place so that this thing could go off without a hitch and with as many eyeballs as possible. We want the entire community, if we can, looking at this.
Oh, you're going to have that.
What's being started, Eli?
Well, there's going to be a debate between Witsit and QE.
Well, I mean, Witsit's like half the community, so I think everybody, and then QE has the other half, so everybody should know about
it.
Witsit is calling it a debate. QE's calling it what's he calling it again? A trial.
So this will be good. With it reasonably moderated with AI, let the best man win,
Place your bets. Place your bet.
Wait, hold on. Hey, wait, I have a question.
Guys.
What is the point of contention in the debate? Is it laid down, or like what is the debate?
No, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure, man. I mean, could it be any different than the show that we had with Witsit on here? We get, ask asking us about what's in a vacuum, but when vacuums don't exist. So I always thought that question was weird.
Vacuums in nature.
Vacuums in nature, right?
Right.
It's
Well,
like,
even in the vacuums we create, there's still gas pressure. Is 10 to negative 17 torr is still a pressure, right? 10 to the negative 6 torr is still a pressure. So it's not a vacuum if you're thinking of it as the absence of everything.
Not a perfect vacuum.
so I mean, I can't argue his point. I'm not really. I don't know what the point is.
Why are
No,
you
I mean,
talking?
just that.
What are you babbling about then?
Well, John is asking me stuff I don't know.
Hey everyone.
Hello. How's it
Well,
going, Brian?
usually,
I know what that's about.
What up, Brian?
Okay.
Witsit was claiming that because there is no matter in a vacuum and light still travels through the vacuum, that there must be another medium allowing light to do this. So he's pre-assuming that light requires a medium. That's the argument there.
Hidden. They're going to have a debate about whether or not light's a wave traversing a medium. Wow. Really?
No, that's what he thinks it's going to be. Huey's
Who's
going to put him
he?
on trial though during it.
Who's he?
What's it?
Witsit thinks he's going to be debating about light as a wave traversing a medium. Okay.
Oh,
I don't
you
know
just
that.
got back. I was wondering what you meant by what am I talking about? So we're sometime in July. I would guess. I guess now we need confirmation from Witsit, but uh, QE is free sometime mid-July or something like that, or somewhere around there. And basically, we're talking about just like super promoting this event because it'll be a moderated event, and why not get the whole community to hear it, since the whole community, it seems, has been gossiping about it, and there seems to be two sides that heavily emphasized on the seams for me, because sides, what is those? But so basically, I don't know what the topic they're going to be debating is. I just know that Witsit's stance is, or I thought Witsit's stance was, you know, that you can't have nothing without. There can be nothing, which is like a truism. Like what is nothing? Like we know, but I don't know where he's in. I mean, I don't know. It's been a while now, so I don't really remember the
right,
rhetoric
but
or why either side is whatever.
nobody would deny that statement, right? There
I
can't be
know, but
nothing.
it's set up as
But
if our position has to be we're denying it. I don't know.
that's absurd because we state right from the jump that there is no such thing as a perfect vacuum. Nathan just reiterated. Does he not know what words mean? I still think that's the case. He just doesn't know what words mean.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if there's a perfect vacuum, right, or not. He's pre-assuming. Well, this it used to be his claim. See, Witsit's claims and what he's claiming change all the time. So what used to be his claim was that light requires a medium to travel through a vacuum or to be in a vacuum, right? Now, I'm not sure if he's claiming it requires a medium to travel as a wave. I'm not sure what he's claiming about light. I just know that he was claiming. He did at one time claim wave, then he changed that. So I know he at this stage that he was claiming that there needed to be a medium for the light to be in the vacuum when there was no matter. But no, how did you verify there needed to be a medium? It's purely begging the question based on what you have a belief of. That's what it is. No one verified why like nobody actually knows what light is. They just know that it's how it's described, but you don't know what it is, so you can't say what light needs and doesn't need. Like, so I don't know. Like that used to be his claim that it required a medium, that being ether or the ether, to travel through a vacuum or be in a vacuum. I don't know what his claim is presently. But
Yeah, definitely. Probably on Thursday. Probably maybe next week. I haven't made up my mind. But yeah, definitely.
Sounding to me, guys, like this is going to be two very different approaches. One side, you got Kiwi wanting to hold it to science, what we can and can't prove. And what I'm hearing there sounds to be, Eli, correct me if I'm wrong, but more of a philosophical discussion that Witsit's wanting to have. It's not based in any evidence, just in terms of philosophical considerations of matter and ways in which manifestations can occur, how we could imagineer some of these things, but not based in.
Right.
Oh, no,
Well,
no
you
problem.
know,
If it's highlighted as this is just a philosophical debate, I'm not making any claim. It's
Why,
just a-
you know, I can't. Like if it was any. I have a hard time finding my words on the live stream when I'm talking about this, but it's like, damn. All right, give me a second.
I'm going to go.
Well, I
with
just
no.
want to
Why are
point
you
out.
struggling? Why are you struggling, Bob? What's
Hold on before we jump on Elijah about him being friends with Witsit. What I was going to say is, who has ever created the perfect vacuum to show that light does not travel through said perfect vacuum?
Good point. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. You produce that perfect vacuum, and then we'll establish whether or not light travels through it, shall we?
You know, I'm struggling because if it were you guys, I know a year into the future, without having seen you, I could argue your point for you. But Witsit's rhetoric has changed or evolved so many. I can't. I don't feel like I would represent what he's saying today if I brought up what he said yesterday. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm just like, I don't know where he's at with everything right now.
I think
So
that's
that's
fair.
why I
I
can't.
don't think anybody does. I think that's all we've been asking for the past year. So I say, define what you mean when you say electrostatics. Don't just say everything's made up of it. Please define it, because he's going to use that as a defense all the way through any argument.
No, we know we spent like an hour and a half,
Yeah.
like using all of your 24/7's resources, looking up like the definition that doesn't contradict itself or isn't an equivocation.
I'm not fussed about what the internet says. I'm more interested in terms of what Witsit claims this thing is. He uses the term with authority. I've no problem with that, but it just needs some kind of explanation as to what he's implying with that.
Well, based on what I remember, I thought electrostatics was it's the reason all of the matter is held together. But then that presents two problems. Number one, well, how are you going to show that? Do you have stuff just falling apart? Like, because the changing the weight of things that's completely not relevant to the premise. And then you also have the problem of, I thought you guys hated like atomists and stuff. So
Yeah, outside of that, then I mean that's a major point. But what's electrostatics then? What are you saying it is?
no, you said we need him because I told you that when we looked it up, blah blah blah, you were like, that's irrelevant. I'm like, well, based on what I can gather, he said sometime in the past, it has to do with, everything be like like things being things. Electrostatics is the interwoven part of all of that or something. I don't know.
Right. It's what holds everything together, is what he'll say. But is gas being held together?
So this is the next question. Are we talking about inter or intramolecular electrostatic forces? Very different things.
That's
Are we
also
talking about electrostatic on a surface? Very different things.
I think Witsit may be out of his depth with QE on this one.
Well, that's the thing, because you're right. Because and I brought this up because it's the only one I can think of at the time, and I was like, what if, okay, so you put the balloon on your head, you rub it around, and then it sticks to a wall. So that's what they're saying. It's almost like when people say gravity is relative. It's like where you're standing on the sphere is always going to be. It doesn't matter because you're being pulled to the center. So it's like, well, now down is horizontal if you rub a balloon and you change the whatever, I guess, when you rub the balloon on your head and they're static and it's sticking there now. But that's the thing, Adam. Is it right? Is it this thing that causes directionality, or is it this thing that holds things together? We gotta figure all this out. I don't know. Or is it both? Which obviously logically can't be. Like you can't do that.
How is it holding together? What is holding it together? These are the questions that are going to need answering before you can proceed really in any debate we've got to get this bit qualified because it's always going to be the point of contention. So it needs qualifying by Witsit first so that any conversation can develop. Otherwise, it will just retort back to that, trying to get a definition of it.
Right. But the thing is what's holding everything together. That's why they say gas go down, go boom, boom, because they can't accept that gas fills the available volume because it has no intermolecular forces that hold it together.
The point I'm making really is, I've heard that a number, it's the thing that holds things together. That's the level of intellect that this thing's going to be discussed at, then realistically it shouldn't be discussed. If that's the only way you can describe it, and make your point, you shouldn't be discussing this. Because you clearly don't know what the hell you're on about. Yeah? That's why I'm not giving any clues or hints. I'm looking forward to hearing this. But genuinely, this is sounding like I've waited a year for these descriptions. They've not been forthcoming. I've asked in private chats. They've not been forthcoming. For me, this is like arguing from not just a complete lack of understanding and not being bothered to read it. It's there. The information's there. The trouble, as far as I can see, is you're going to invoke electrons.
You're going to have to.
Not those things.
Those things don't exist, chocolate, aren't they?
Oh no. Let's definitely not invoke a machine that accelerates these things also. Let's not do that, please.
What? Implying that they're then particles. Ouch. You see, it's all of that needs addressing first. If you're going to redefine physics, you can't use terms that physics uses in a particular way and then just use them in a slapdash free will way that has no real direct meaning. And when you're asked to provide meaning, you skirt around the subject.
Did my speaker stop working or did everybody go quiet?
Everyone went quiet.
Having a moment of silence for the globe.
Rest
Well, it
in
sounds
peace, all those.
Well, I don't know. It's like you're trying to. How could you have an argument with the complexities of nature when someone doesn't even like understand the basics of what they're talking about? Well, with Witsit and the Ethereans, they've denied an aspect of reality to assert a downward force that you don't experience. So I don't know where they'll have a valid point in any of this.
I'll be honest, couldn't give a shit.
I mean, you could use it as a good chance to, question someone's motives for asserting it and trying to,
No. There's a purpose in all this. From my perspective, again, people think that in this, like, flat earthers think they can skip out to lunch during the logical fallacies portion, or without knowing what a logical. I don't that's the thing that's most important to me is like the just like Huey was saying the other day, like if you're doing algebra, like like 30 years into the future, you don't remember all that shit because you forget the rules. So you have to go back, and figure out the rules and learn it all over again so that you could do it. And it's the same thing with logic. It's like, if you don't know the rules of logic, like, people can ask you questions that you'll spend days trying to answer when you haven't even questioned whether or not it was a worthy question, that could be answered in a way that makes does the question make sense? Like, and this is the thing that flat earthers just think, well, we got a winning point, we're winning. It's not, that deep to me. It's like, no, but everything you do down to how you spend your money is tied into whether or not you understand, how to think critically and logically. And so I just think that, if if the community does feel split between this side and that side or whatever, I think that, when this debate is going on, the most important thing is to realize when someone is trying to win an argument using logical fallacies. Like, they need to know that has to stop.
yes,
Everybody.
that is a fallacy. You can't assert, you can only void an argument. You can't win an argument.
What I said to Witsit on Skype was, he's claiming that electrostatics is the cause of density, right? Now, what I said to him, what led to him saying that to me even, was that I pointed out that stopping something from going up, which is a helium balloon being tied to a cable that has electric charge being put, or has a charge being put through it, stopping the helium balloon going up, or preventing, let's say, something going down, like in the Van de Graaff generator, we have little tiny fragments of things not being allowed to go down because they're more dense than they are. They want to go down. Not that they want, not that I say they're sentient, but down is the direction they're going to go if they're not impeded. So what's happening is they're being impeded by the buildup of charge underneath them. So stopping something from going up and preventing something from going down is not changing polarity. Because to change polarity, because his claim is that electrostatics is the cause of density. Now, my point about that was, well, no, that would be two things. That would be matter and electrostatics. Because if you're claiming that, then you must adhere or address both of them. Because without matter, you won't have density within that claim, and without electrostatics, you won't have density within that claim. So how do you change polarity without changing density? You can't. How do I change the density of a piece of steel without removing some of the matter?
Well,
you can't do that.
Even worse than that, how do you invoke electrostatics without invoking the particle without invoking particle physics? It doesn't make any sense. It's like a nonsensical question from his standpoint, saying that particles don't exist.
Yeah, but and I'll get to that in a few minutes. That is a totally valid point, because he's dealing with the very small. But he's claiming to change polarity with the Van de Graaff generator or with the helium balloon being tied to a cable with a charge in it through it. But how can you change the polarity, which is due to density? Because he's proving by claiming that, like, it's nearly an admission that because he's claiming everything is all density is created by electrostatics, holding matter together, then the only reason for anything going down or up is density. So how do you change that polarity without changing the density? That's the problem. He has contradictory claims. Because the electrostatics in the air, whatever electrostatics are in the air, right, have nothing to do with the density of matter of a piece of steel or the overall density of a helium balloon. So the only way to stop that piece of steel going down within that paradigm is to change its density. Make steel less steel. You know what I mean? How do you stop steel being steel? Wood is always going to be wood. You know what I mean? Where do you go from there? Like, how do you? Because his claim is that using electrostatics, using charge, that they're stopping a helium balloon going up, and they're making or the helium balloon is starting to go down, and the little fragments of things in the Van de Graaff generator are going up. But that's not what's happening. It's only a prevention both ways. You're stopping the helium balloon going up, and you're preventing the small fragments from going down. But that doesn't do anything. So the claim there about how electrostatics cause the polarity or directionality of matter is nonsense. Because you can't change the polarity to show that. You can't change the density to show that.
If everything was electrostatics, like what he's claiming anyway, wouldn't that be the electrostatics allowing the helium balloon to go up? Like, am I confused?
Well,
I'm still having trouble
focusing on density.
I'm still having trouble. Yeah, I just want to say, every time electrostatics is mentioned, you're talking about intermolecular or intramolecular forces. I don't see how he has a valid point. Even if it's true, it destroys his paradigm. To even say it doesn't make sense.
Well, for me to state that density is caused by electrostatics would mean that the only way you're going to change whether a piece of steel goes down through air or not is to change its density. And you can't do that. So it ends up being at a kind of a hijack. To me, it's like an attempt by Witsit to hijack density and claim density for themselves. But then that takes away from their supposed demonstrations. Because if they're claiming density, if they're hijacking density via electrostatics, then why is the helium balloon not going up? Why is the piece of steel not going down? What happened? Because that hijacking density contradicts their demonstrations, and it shows their demonstrations are bunk. Not that you need that, but it shows that. Because how can electrostatics change the density of a piece of steel? How can it change the overall density of a helium balloon? Because if you're going to hijack density, then your point is what? What's your point for hijacking density? What's the reason for something going down or up?
Change the electrostatics of a piece of steel. What the hell are you talking about? Please define what that implies, what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, what changes, how it changes. Not, I'm just going to change the electrostatics. It's just unqualified nonsense.
Yeah, it is. That was my question to him. You see, that's what I said to him in a kind of a sarcastic way. Not in a nasty way, because I didn't want, because just in a sarcastic way. How are you going to change the density of a piece of steel to stop it from going down? Because if you're claiming that electrostatics is the cause of density,
what does that mean?
To hijack density?
What the fudge does that mean? I can't go past that. If somebody says that, I can't go past that because it's just a nonsense until they clarify what they're meaning.
Exactly, Adam. Like you can't deny particles as your whole basis for the debate, and so you can have ether. You can't deny that and invoke electrostatics, which is dependent upon particle interactions. It's so stupid. It's making my head hurt.
And then break out a machine that accelerates particles.
And I'll criticize refractive curvature there. No, John, no. You have filled in the gaps there for him with your knowledge. Please, Witsit, explain to us. Not what John's logically put together with his knowledge, which is clearly superior to yours, to make some sense of it. He's not put that, John, yeah? He's not explained that yet. He's not made that part of his claim. And that's what we're waiting for.
But words have meanings, like, and this is the meaning I take from it, is what I mean. But that's the best I can do, and it's still ignorant.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're being kind. You are filling in with your knowledge, not responding to the statement he's made. There's big gaps, and you've used your knowledge to fill those gaps to try and make sense of it. It doesn't, but do you know what I mean? But we've not got that level of explanation yet from the progenitors of this theory.
Well, why is there a need to hijack density? Why would you need that? And if you did need it, for why I think you need it, where are your other demonstrations then? Your other demonstrations are bunk, admittedly. Because if you need to hijack density, because density is the real reason for matter directionality in the medium, then where's your demonstrations? Where's your balloon demonstration or your Van de Graaff demonstration? They don't mean anything then, because you're contradicting what you're trying to hijack.
Is density a force?
Sorry?
Is density a force? I mean, I've heard some people say density is a force.
Well, I never said that. Density is density. It's like if I've described this in a way that angers people, so I won't describe it that way, but exactly the same way. But if my phone, if I leave that going out, it's going to fall down because the air can't support it. There's not enough support, enough matter there in density to support that. It's going to go down. The helium balloon, its overall density will be sent up. How this happens, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well,
we can only describe it. So calling it a force is, you'd have to prove it's a force.
No, it's not a force. Density is not a force. Relative density is not a force unless it's in disequilibrium.
Exactly.
So the disequilibrium, yeah, that could be classified as a force because you can show that it causes movement.
How does it get into disequilibrium? You apply a force to it.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah. How does the stone fall? I pick it up.
Yeah, well, what I would say about it, if I was to talk about it, I would say that disequilibrium is an effect of it's more effects of than a force. So so if I pick up a stone, the effect of that when I leave it go is that it will fall again because it's in disequilibrium. I don't think that even disequilibrium can be called a force. Once it's in disequilibrium, it's more of an effect of it being put there. So the cause it is someone or some reason for it to be put there.
Wait, what?
The
So
effect.
you're taking away the actual cause of the effect and then saying you don't know what? Why?
No,
You
I'm
can
saying like
literally
that if
very
I pick up a
manipulate it.
stone, but if I pick up a stone and I'm the cause, let's just say.
It's not naturally occurring though.
Well, yeah, but it will naturally occur with rain, for instance, or gas. It's like to me, it's just an effect. It's an effect of disequilibrium. I don't know if there's any force.
No, but you got it the other way around. If you say that if density disequilibrium would be caused by a force, putting it like that, that would be another thing. But you can't say that, no, disequilibrium isn't the force, it's an effect. That doesn't work. It is
Yeah, well,
a
this is
provable effect, like something you can very manipulate. And then it will cause that force. It is a force.
Right.
I don't know what way to describe it. That's why I was talking about cider. That's why I was talking all the time about supportive matter.
Well,
that's
see, Anthony put the egg in equilibrium. He added salt to the medium, and it caused the disequilibrium. So there was movement. It may be a failing of language, but it still caused that to happen.
Caused the egg to move by changing the density of the medium that the egg was in? Wow. And which way did it move exactly? Was it up?
Back to Witsit quickly. What is the phenomenon that they're trying to address with this thing? Witsit.
Well,
phenomenon.
We don't have. We're still trying to tie down definitions.
Do you want to replace it with ether?
Well, okay. Well, I guess I can definitively say there is an. I guess I can't. I don't know. The whole up and down thing. There being an explanation for it that's better than gravity. So you'll have a plate up there, sky, down here, earth, and that will create the up and down. But
you're saying that gravity is an explanation for the up and down?
No, what I'm saying is, Arwen, I'm not saying anything.
I'm pretty sure you are.
And who was talking the last 2 minutes?
No, I mean, I'm not. I'm trying to repeat as best I can what was being said. Asking me won't help. I'm just a recording.
Don't worry, I got you.
So again, like what's being claimed? Well, at some point, there's being claimed like we have this electrostatic. Again, we have to define that because electrostatic seems to be static electricity, and then other things at other times. That's why I said things have to be defined, but there seems to be a lot of talk about electrostatic potential changing the further up in altitude you go. The only problem with that for me is, well, you can't science that because you can't. You have an uncontrolled control variable, which is what? The pressure of the air. So, I mean,
It's
again,
pointless. It's pointless because electrostatics is like very measurable. It has a short range. It can't cause it. It can't nudge it. It can't do anything. And electrostatics is by default kind of erratic. So you could never have like a stable one-directional thing coming out of it. Even like the whole
what
idea is
electrostatics are you
completely
talking about
preposterous.
now? This is something completely unrelated to the way we've been discussing it before. It's a whole new meaning.
Yeah, and
Why we? This is just really frustrating. Makes us sound dumb as we try to explain the unexplained, the nonsensical, the one word for 15 meanings, because it just means it fixes it and allows you to carry on waffling in your paradigm.
You mean
And
the
then
wheel?
we give it sucker by humouring it. It's just not worthy of comment. It's frustrating to hear. Sorry to get on my high horse.
No, I agree. The wheelie, I like to call it the wheelie, right? And Witsit is really good at doing the wheelie from Ken Wheeler, who started it, that talking, the technobabble going in a circle. And yeah, it's completely pointless to analyze the whole thing because it'll take you a very long time and it'll amount to nothing. So you could just ignore it. The entire
Well,
technobabble.
if we just go off the last bit that was talked about, I have yet to see any verification for the claim. See, it all comes back to verifications. I've yet to see any verification for the claim that there's a static charge buildup as you rise. Nobody has provided evidence for that. It's a claim. I heard it as a claim many times, but I've not seen actual evidence of the measurement. How it happened.
There is though.
Right?
It is measured through weather balloons.
well,
Even there is, but the problem is that it's a charge buildup. But as soon as it discharges, it's gone. Like it's not a stable
you're claiming
thing.
now. You're making his claim for him. Then you're claiming, Arwen, that it has been measured.
What Arwen's saying is a thing, though. Like, so if you guys are talking, if you guys are talking past each other, you guys have to understand that.
But weather balloons don't do that, Arwen. They don't measure.
They
weather
can
balloons
read
don't measure
the electrostatics.
They don't measure a build-up. They don't measure a constant build-up of electrostatic charge. They don't do that.
No, they measure a certain level of tension that is there, and they can't even release it. I mean, you can't do anything with it. The whole point about the static electricity in the air, even that Tesla talked about a bit, you can't do anything with it.
No, I guess. Look, I guess what? Brian. So there's supposed to be a voltage change, and Brian is saying, well, what's the proof that there's a voltage build up? You guys are talking about two different things.
No. Let me speak for myself, Eli. Right?
I mean, you said there's no proof of voltage buildup. So what's wrong with what I said?
Measurement, I said. Now,
that's what I'm saying.
Speak for myself.
That's what I'm saying.
For myself, I won't. It will be clear.
No, I'm trying to stop you guys from arguing, and you're like, no, let me at him, and that's useless.
Yeah,
it's more important things to discuss.
Because he's made a claim. I want to make sure that I'm clear on the claim he's made.
You're not, because you're talking about one thing.
You're not allowing me to do
thing.
it. You're causing a problem by not allowing me and Arwen to have the conversation.
I'm causing a problem by not allowing you to argue with Arwen, which will end up in the same way it's ended up over the past 365 days. You can't see that, really?
I've heard Arwen make a claim. I want to clarify if the claim is the same as what Witsit's claiming.
Well, before you do, I would like to make a claim. Hold on. Before you do, I would like to make a claim, and I think this will illustrate Adam's point. Okay. Garble snuck de fra chick chicka waka. Now debunk. Hold on. No. Now debunk me.
Is that good enough, John?
It's just lazy racism.
Well, no, if the words he's using have no meaning, what are you debunking?
Feelings.
I've still yet to get any evidence of this measurement that's claimed to happen. Because that's the starting point. There's a measurement of a buildup of static charge from the ground up into the air. It increases as you rise up. That is the claim. Now,
Yeah.
I have yet to see any measurement of that.
Well,
I've
it's
looked.
what happens with radio towers. It's a well-known fact.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
talking about. I'm talking about a measurement, Arwen, that goes up.
Measurement. A
Whatever amount of
measurement
miles they're
of
talking
what
about.
they measure that the radio tower that's really, really high up,
Hang on.
that it is
Arwen.
subjected to a certain electrical influence, which will
that's a
screw up the
radio
equipment
tower.
if you do not account for it.
But that's a
Is that
radio
good enough for you?
tower.
Is that measured enough?
No, it's not measured enough, Arwen.
Oh, it's not.
You're
No,
trying to
okay,
make-
well,
you're
well
trying to
then,
support
well,
Witsit's
you go
claim
measure it
with a
then,
radio
because I'm not
tower.
going to do that.
Yeah, but you're trying to support Witsit's claim with a radio tower like a fucking idiot.
What are you
Sorry
fuck
for
are
the
you talking
cursing,
about?
Nathan. Because you're being an idiot.
Why am I being
I'm
an
asking
idiot?
for a
I
I'm asking
addressed the
for a
whole static
particular measurement,
electricity
and you're
thing
telling
for
me about
not
a
being
radio tower.
possible for
I'm talking
doing
about a
what they
consistent
want
measurement.
it to do.
A
It
consistent
doesn't
measurement.
matter whether
Oh,
there's
shut up.
a charge
You're
measured
not-
or
stop.
You're not
not.
Forget it.
allowing
Stop.
Brian to
boy.
speak,
You-
Arwen.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
I
come
have
on,
to let
man.
him speak, right?
Arwen,
Yeah,
then Brian.
Arwen.
Yeah, we don't let you
hello,
speak
hello,
all the time.
Hello.
You
Let
serious?
Arwen get his objection in, then we'll go to Brian. Go ahead, Arwen.
Yeah. The point is, it doesn't matter whether it's measured or not. Even if it were to be measured, it couldn't do what they want it to do mechanically. So it's completely pointless to even wonder whether there was a measurement of it up there or not, because it can't do what they say it does. Fact.
Right. So are you claiming that it has been measured from the ground up to whatever, 40 miles up, whatever the claim is?
What is
As
it?
a this
told you he wasn't.
what is it, the thing that you're talking about, this electrostatic charge?
He
Are you
wasn't
claiming
talking
that
about
that has
Yeah.
been measured?
Well, I
Are you
don't know
claiming
if
that has
somebody
been
went with a
measured?
measuring stick
Hang on, let
there,
me
but I
finish.
definitely.
Are
Oh,
you
can I
claiming-
answer? Oh, so I
Hang on,
can
no, 'cause
answer.
I'm not
Okay,
finished asking you the
I can
question.
answer.
I'm not-
Okay, well
I'm
then
not
you
finished
go.
asking you the question, Arwen, because you won't allow me. Are you claiming that there has been a measured constant increase in electrostatic charge from the ground up to whatever, 30, 40 miles?
No,
Great.
I
Well,
told
that's
you
what
that.
I was talking
There's no
about a minute
build-up.
I
ago.
told Brian.
That's
I
there's no
told you he
build-up.
wasn't
There's
saying
just
that.
a
minute ago,
charge.
Arwen.
But Brian,
It's
I
not
told
a
you he
build-up. It
wasn't
doesn't
saying that.
build up to more.
That is
It's
what I
just
was
a
asking about.
charge.
That is what I
Yeah,
was
boys,
asking about.
is-
Yeah. Arwen, that is what I was asking about earlier. And you said, yeah, it was measured. That's what you said.
There's a static charge
'Cause
that
you-
is measured,
Maybe
not a
if you
build-up
maybe
though.
try
Well, that's true.
listening, maybe try listening to
true.
what someone is
A
saying.
charge, not a build-up.
Yeah, I
Well,
changed
you're-
my mind. It's Arwen's fault now because you responded with a non sequitur or a red herring or one of those. Yeah, it's true.
There's no
If you
build-up.
said it
There
is
is a charge
measured, then
there.
it'd be your fault.
There's no build-up, but there is a charge there, and it can be broken, and it's all gone. That's every time they attempted to tap electricity out of the air, and there's been people that have dedicated a decade to that shit. Every time they tried, it only works for a fraction of a second, and then it's all gone. So they can't get anything out. There's no charge buildup. There's no continual influx of static energy like that. There's just some static energy there. That is all. Not a charge buildup.
Yeah, well, that was my question, Arwen, because that is the beginning of their claim, and that's why I've never gotten an answer to it. Because they claim
Okay, I tried to
this-
tell you, but
Yeah, but I'm trying to give you their claim, Arwen. Their claim is that from the ground up, what I heard Bob originally claim it, he said 60 miles. Now, I've heard Witsit say less than 60, I think, or one of them say less than 60. But I've definitely heard Bob say 60 miles. From the ground up, there is a measured increase in the electrostatic charge. That's what I've heard, and
there
that's
is
why
an
they
increase
say,
the higher you go, but not a charge buildup.
well, see, you're saying there's an increase the higher you go. Increase in what?
What if they
The
mean
amount of
altitude?
electricity that materials are going to be subjected to when they hang there or stick out from the ground into there.
Yeah, but you're
Yeah, but if
saying
it's
there is
static,
a build-up, and but hang on, but you're saying that there is. Are you saying now that there is a measured build-up from the ground up to 40 miles, whatever, that it has been measured?
Apparently, there is.
Apparently, or yes or no? Apparently, because
I've never personally measured it. Until, yeah, you can rub this all over me, of course.
But this
yeah.
is the problem.
Yeah. I can't
This
have a
is the problem,
conversation
Arwen.
because every time you start
apparently, that
steamrolling
means
me.
absolutely
Every
nothing.
fucking
Either
time,
it is
Brian. I
measured or
can't
it
have a
isn't.
conversation with
Do you
you.
even know what I'm talking about?
Arwen, you can't just talk to Brian. Brian's not trying to yell at you. He's just talking.
He lets me say a few words and then he keeps continually rambling.
No, I'm trying to get
that's exactly
some
what
sort.
you've done.
I'm trying to get some specific information
minutes.
out of you, and
You're
all I'm
doing it
getting is
now.
vague nonsense.
It's not vague nonsense.
You're not listening to what I'm asking you, even. Go on, John.
There is a measurement of the potential difference, like Arwen was saying, and the minute you measure it,
okay,
it'll go away because the potential no longer exists between that point and the point you're measuring. So,
So now it's okay. So now it's okay, Brian. You're not going to hear him out. You're not going to ramble over him.
Arwen.
When he's saying the same
Hello?
thing.
Can we hear from the person with the vast experience in electrics? Thank you. Go ahead, John.
right. It's like when you slide down.
No, we obviously can't.
Arwen, what are you,
try that
12?
again?
That's not Arwen's fault.
I just want to hear what John's got to
Don't
say.
do
He
that.
knows what he's talking about in this regard. I want to hear what he's got to say.
When you slide down a slide that's not properly grounded, right? You'll see it with kids on the playground. Their hair will stand up, and if they touch you, they'll shock you. There is a differential or a potential for that differential the higher you go up. But the minute you measure it, you have closed that distance, and the potential no longer exists. That's why it's
Exactly.
a shock.
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah, and that's why. Real quick.
Hello,
real
it's
quick, Brian.
hello. Brian next, then Arwen, presumably in response. Then if you've got...
That was super arbitrary.
Go on then, Eli.
In the beginning of this conversation, when I heard you both speak, I said, well, Arwen is saying something different than you are. Which is exactly what John just said. So why argue? What's the argument now?
Because what's after happening now is both Arwen and John have said, yeah, it is measured, and then they go talking about something else. It's not measured. What the claim from Witsit and them is that there is a measured build-up, right? A consistent measured build-up per meter in elevation or altitude above sea level of this electrostatic charge. And it goes up. It's been measured. I heard Bob say 60 miles. I've heard someone else, could have been Witsit, say less than 60. The point is that there is a claim of this. Now, if this is not true and it hasn't been measured, because so far I'm not hearing anything, no one's presenting a measurement, an actual measurement of this thing. If what they're claiming is not true and there isn't a measurement, because there doesn't seem to be, then that's the beginning and ending of their claims in the first place. Because that is what they need for their claim of things going down.
When you say build up, are you talking about like there's? I'm not sure I understand what you mean. Are you saying like the higher you go, the potential
more build
difference?
More.
It's the potential.
It's being measured. Hang on, John. The claim is that it has been measured for 30 miles or more up. Now, it used to be 60 miles, and I pointed out nothing goes up above 36 miles, so I don't know where they got the 60 miles out of. So now, the latest claims I've heard is that it's around 30 miles, this measurement. Show me the measurement, who did it, what did they do? Because the claim is that for every meter above sea level, there is an increase. So there's more at 2 meters than 1 meter, etc.
Yeah, there's a slight increase, but it also breaks instantaneous.
Is there though, Arwen? Is there?
Yeah.
Though? Show me who measured.
Show me. Oh, it's over there.
On
I can show it.
screen, I can demonstrate it if you wish.
I can't show it to you. And I can show you it dissipating with lightning. Will that be good enough?
on screen, I've got, it's an old video. I looked into atmospheric energy. I think I've shown some of you guys some of the collectors I built and tried to store. It's there, this energy. It's very, very small. The voltages described make it sound like it's loads, but it's at such a low ampage. You could do next to nothing with it. What we've got here is a cylinder engine motor, and they're going to power this with literally just the atmospheric power. They're going to take a drone up with this cable, and it'll be the electropotential at the top to the bottom. And they do get this motor to turn a little bit. But like I say, the amount of, there you go, look, there she is, slowly turning with the drone hovering at 390 feet above it. It's generating that.
Yeah,
As I said, let me finish. The amperage is so weak, look, that's all it can do. And even then, it's really struggling to power it. I've gathered stuff, used gatherers, and stored it into capacitors. And you can use a voltmeter to read what you've stored, and that just about uses it up. When I was explaining it to QE, there is power there. It's not sufficient to power a little digital watch, but there's sufficient energy in a lemon to power that watch. So hopefully that kind of puts it into scale, the amount of actual achievable energy you can harvest. It is there, but it is exceptionally minimal.
Right.
I'm done.
Oh, yeah, but that
Including at its maximum, it's still at its maximum. It's incredibly little. That's the point.
Hang on. Sorry, Adam. I have been asking for a couple of years now to see the measurement that has been claimed happened of this supposed build-up, and nobody is showing it me. There's no point in showing me a motor in someone's garden. No offense, but that is not the measurement that these people are claiming happened. I need the measurement. Just like people claim to measure gravity. Show me the measurement of this gravity.
So if this is not an actual demonstration with a video that Adam brought forth, if that is not a measurement, then what is a measurement according to you?
Has to be something that's measured, something that is that they can show you and you can measure yourself. So I can measure a difference from outside my garden to up at my roof. I should be able to measure a difference according to their claim. I should be able to use, you know what I mean?
That's simple. Take that device that's put in the air to measure it, and then just use it at ground level and see what it collects there.
But how is that a measurement device? It's a motor that they're using they're pulling in charge from the air to get the motor to move. But that's not a measurement. That's not measuring it. That's not proving. See, they have a claim of a measurement. And every time I ask about it, nobody will produce this measurement. That's them, Arwen. That's the point I'm making. A measurement is something is measured, a consistent build-up as you raise above sea level. That's their claim. And they claim it's been measured.
No, that's what
so
they
who measured it?
but that's not what they. I know that's what they. I know that. Think of it. You know how flat earthers say things that they hear, and it's not quite what was said. I think John said it the way it's supposed to be said. It's not. They're not taking something and like this whatever Adam is showing right here. This isn't what they're doing. And that's not what they're claiming either, or maybe they're trying to.
That's
not the point of me demonstrating. The point I'm trying to address here is to demonstrate this rising electropotential as you go higher. And that's the whole premise of this. That's why he has to get the drone, because he can't get it high enough on poles to get sufficient power. But when he does get it high enough, then he can turn that crappy Corona motor. That's all I'm trying to say. That I'm not arguing that we don't have this differential. I don't but need to see the numbers, and I've seen demonstration of it, like as I'm showing here. I don't see its relevance to anything. Well, to them, it does seem to have a relevance, and they then use it as an excuse to stitch things together. Their explanations. Again, I don't see how this phenomena of the voltage differential helps them in their understanding of the formation of matter and how relative density plays out. I understand how they think it does, but I'm yet to see how they can demonstrate it.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you guys. I'm going to do the same thing that I did before, which is I'm going to drop temporarily, change the setting, and then come back. So for all of you in Discord, please hang around. For you, those of you in G+, also please hang around. And for those of you watching live, I've just rescheduled another stream, which will get going as soon as I possibly can. But another massive, huge, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's members-only live stream possible. Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a member after the fact, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll hopefully see you all very shortly in the next video.
What a lovely day!